and then you can share this with your teammates if you'd like to as well. So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about the what you called components a minute ago.
Yeah. So every fence is kind of what I'm trying to call, or I guess what a lot of estimating companies call an assembly.
Mhm.
So the assembly is created of components. So you have your posts, which is like a 4x4 post or a 4x6 post or a 6x6 post. And then you have rails, which is typically a 2x4x8 or by 10, depending on the section length. So it'd also be nice to be able within ArcSight or something to designate the section length and just say, hey, this is a 8-foot section fence. And then as you draw it, it's able to kind of recognize how many posts you're going to need for that
Okay.
60-foot stretch or what have you. So yeah, that's a little bit about, and then the pickets, obviously. You have 4-inch pickets or 6-inch pickets. So that would also be nice to designate, because if you're using a 6-inch picket, you're obviously going to use less over the course of the section. So
Pickets, these like cross, if that's like the outline of a fence.
the vertical is the rails, the the vertical is the post, the horizontal is the rail, and then the pickets are what you nail to the rails, and that's kind of the dog-eared angle, what you see. It's like a picket fence. So
Oh, sorry. So like, is this more kind of like representative of picket fence?
I'm trying to, no.
Okay. Yeah, look at it real quick. I'm sorry.
So basically,
I hear you. You're okay. I just looked up image of a picket fence here. So hope you don't mind me learning a little bit from you while I
right.
do the interview. 1 second. My screen share is not working. Huh. Interesting. All right. Now it's working. So what part of this is the picket?
That's the picket, what you have your mouse on. Yep.
So
So
what you
it's
nail the boards to?
is the rails.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
those are the horizontal members.
Okay. Interesting.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So as far as what ArcSight's capable of for takeoff,
Yep.
so you could use us to probably extrapolate a lot of data. So it'd probably make the process of doing takeoff a little bit easier. I don't think it would do the takeoff for you, at least at this point. Although I think we will get there relatively quickly, because we're actively building out the feature, if you can't tell from the questions I'm asking you. But what I can do for you today, do you want to see like a demo and kind of get an idea of how this is all set up and works? Okay,
100%.
sure. Okay, let's go ahead and set that up. So I'm sharing my iPad here with you. Now, I know you're a little bit familiar with ArcSight since you're using it on your phone, but there's a couple key differences between that and the iPad. So first off, using ArcSight on an iPad is about 1,000,000 times easier, as you might imagine.
Okay.
It was originally designed for the iPad, actually. The iPhone application only came out, I think, about a year and a half ago or so. And that was really just more of a marketing thing to kind of get more people kind of like yourself to try it out and use it a little bit. But once you move over to the iPad, you're going to see everything is quite a bit easier to work with.
Right.
So big difference here between the iPhone and the the iPhone and the iPad version for what you're going to be doing is ArcSight on the iPad actually has this products menu over here to the right. And this is where you can go and actually build out what we call your product environment. This is how you draw in your scope of work. So Todd, kind of for you, what that means is, this is where you would select like fencing, right? And then you would draw it out. And as you draw that fence, ArcSight is going to tally up how much of it you've drawn.
Okay.
So let's say I select this commercial chain link fencing right here. I can just draw these lines to scale. So that's like a 30-foot line right there.
Right.
And we'll make that like 27 feet or something. Then I can move these around, get maybe an angle going.
Right.
let's say I have like a rectangle and I want to build that out like it's a backyard. I can copy these other instances of the fence.
Okay.
Or if I have like a series of them, I could copy all this stuff, right? And if I'm doing like a neighborhood or something and doing multiple quotes at once, maybe I just want to knock them all out at the same time.
Right.
And then if I select all these, I can go to attributes over here to the left.
Okay.
And now I can tell the system about the fence,
Oh, cool.
right? So in this case, I'm going to tell the system, hey, this is a 10-foot high fence. Let's say this is commercial for whatever. It's chain link, I guess it would be commercial, right? I'm going to go ahead and select barbed wire install here, and then we're going to do a black chain link fence as well. I'm going to save and close all that. So now the system kind of knows that that's 12-foot high chain link fence with barbed wire. Next thing to do is going to go ahead and we're going to add some sliding gates here. And we can give you these symbols if you kind of like what you see. I designed these about a month or two ago.
Nice.
Let's rotate that. And so in this case, I've added like 2 gates to the system. So now I can like tap on these, for instance. And, oh, okay. Well, I didn't set up any attribute data for the fence or for the gate. But like one thing you could put on here is like, does this have security, keypad? I don't know. You probably have a number of different sliding gates you guys sell. You know all about that stuff. I don't. I'm just guessing when I put this stuff together. And then you can even drop icons here, like for secured entry, right? So we can move that over right there to kind of indicate that there's a keypad kind of set up. Did I set up attributes here? No, I didn't. All right. Well, I think you got the attribute concept down. I can add some text. Call this building 1. Well, building 1, not building 1. And we're gonna copy that over. Gonna tap on this and building 2. And then you could kind of mix and match here. You could go to freehand mode, maybe draw in where the road is or something. We'll do that with a black line. And maybe that connects to, I don't know, the main road, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And drop a little text in here, Main Street. Well, okay, we'll go with Meon Street. That sounds good. All right, and as far as what else you can do here, those dimensions are probably going to be pretty important. So we're going to select everything, go to More on the left, then click Show Dimensions. It's going to bring all those dimensions up on screen, so everything's perfectly legible. People know the size and scale of everything. If there's additional measurements that are important, like let's say the distance between the gate and that left, line,
Yep.
I'm going to measure and draw that in. And then I can actually move that dimension around to make it a little easier to read.
Nice.
Okay, so what do you think of this so far?
It looks good.
Okay.
So were you able to check out the attachment in the email response that I sent you yesterday afternoon?
I looked at it. I didn't spend a whole lot of time studying it, if that's what you're asking. So I can't.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember the drawing.
Very similar to kind of what I put together for my my installation diagram for my crew. So here, I can
pull it up. Sorry, mate.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Oh yeah, that's a lot of info. Yeah, so if you wanted to, you can also do this over a screenshot.
Oh, okay.
Which I maybe forgot to mention. So looks like you were using like Apple Maps or Google Maps for this.
Yeah. So you can do that too. You can take a screen grab of the satellite image and then draw this on top of it.
Oh yeah, it's easy. Let me show you a couple more things, and we'll talk about that workflow because it's a little different.
Yeah.
So before I move on, do you have any questions about what you saw here?
I don't think so. That's good.
All right. So the next thing you're going to do after you finish your drawing is you're going to go to take off an estimate here at the top. You're going to select Create Legend Table. There's a lot of lines and stuff that people aren't going to know what they're looking at. So we're just going to select that. It's going to create what I call a live product legend. It's going to tell everybody what all these symbols are
It's amazing.
and line types.
Yep.
And if we go to take off an estimate, based on the picture you draw, ArcSight prices everything out. And it takes an active, doesn't guess at anything. It's all set up to your parameters. So you can have like
Yep.
tiered pricing structures, different options, all that stuff kind of just built
Nice.
in, right?
Nice.
And if you need to, you can adjust these prices. So I can click here, click adjust price, mark it up, discount it, do whatever I need to.
Cool.
If I go to add other items, I can add custom pricing. So I could price in like removing or digging up a tree or something like that, whatever you need.
Removal, in my case.
Sure.
A lot of the time we're cutting down the old fence and hauling it away. So we have a lineal foot cost for that.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's helpful.
Or that would probably be an option that you could draw in like on the fencing too. So there's a number of ways you could do that, right? And
So question on the can you add that to the chain link as like an add-on? Because more often than not, we're taking the exact footprint of the fence that we're drawing out and removing the old fence and putting a brand new one in. So it's the same lineal, it's the same takeoff.
Okay. Yeah. No, absolutely. You can do that.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So we do that for gutters, right? Gutters is another common use case. You draw a line to stand for a gutter. Then you add an attribute for removal and disposal. It prices it out on a per foot basis.
Awesome.
So, but you can build it out to be whatever you want, frankly.
Yeah.
So what we're doing now is we're building out a proposal to deliver to the client.
Okay.
So I can attach different documents to this. So I could say, want to attach my certificate of insurance, maybe a brochure about the fence, and then I can fill out different checklists here, right? So, who's responsible for the permit, for instance, customer is, and there's a sprinkler system to look out for. Then you can just type in like notes or whatever you need to. And if we navigate to payment, you can't do like monthly payments, but you can customize like a deposit or something like that.
% deposit.
Yeah, we'll say we need half down, right? Then if I hit export customer proposal, upload PDF, it's going to upload all this information to the cloud, compile it onto a PDF with your logo, graphics, information, send that back to the iPad as a ready to sign proposal. You need an internet connection for this one step to work.
Yep.
Okay. That's what the proposal looks like.
That looks great.
This is the products come with descriptions and everything, so people know exactly what they're paying for. You can build that out however you want.
Yep.
Payment terms, additional information. There's your CAD drawing with the legend, place for the customer to sign, terms and conditions,
Wow, this is great.
warranties, PDFs, liability insurance if you want. At this point, you can sign it on the iPad or email it to the client or print it off.
Cool.
And yeah, so it's pretty sweet, man.
That is great. Yeah. That's really, really slick. Cool.
So yeah, let me, I can show you a couple more things. I'm going to stop my recording here real quick.